Good evening, everybody.
Hello. I thought you were gonna. I thought that was gonna be the clap when your wave. I thought it was gonna be the clap.
Oh, sorry. Good
but
evening, everybody.
I was watching. Less. He counted out loud this time.
You know, I've been thinking about this.
Maybe he counted
we
out
need to
loud
dress
before.
up for our
Like wear
show.
a suit.
Like wear a suit,
Oh,
a
yeah.
bow tie.
I like dressing up, man.
Smoking jacket, a
With
little
the
pipe.
little elbow. I
Yeah.
want a jacket with the little elbow patches.
Elbow, yeah. I need to get that for my job anyway. I feel like, you know.
Right. You
to
should
be
have
taken
that.
seriously.
And a pipe.
Yeah, just like
You should walk into your class with your pipe and a smoker's jacket, man.
yeah.
Glasses and like.
But you know what kind of pipe I'm
Act
gonna
like
have?
an Englishman.
Is one of those that just blows bubbles.
Yeah, but wait till you can't blow it until make it seem like it's super serious and the kids are gonna hate it and then blow the bubble. That would be great,
Hell
man.
yeah.
They
I'm
would
gonna
never
do that.
forget you, man.
They're like,
never
dude,
forget.
especially like our freshman intro class. That's
Yeah.
perfect. All right,
Yeah,
I got day
we
one
need-
figured out. Thanks,
Hey
Sean.
guys, we need a bubble pipe.
Yeah. If you're not gonna get us a cake or a clapboard, a bubble
It
pipe.
feels like that's like some 1980s stuff, man. I don't know if they make those anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. The only one I can actually imagine seeing is from The Simpsons, and now it's a cartoon. So,
Yeah.
but they
That and
gotta be
candy
out there.
cigarettes.
Dude, I used to love candy cigarettes.
Yo, candy cigarettes used to be the shit.
Yep. Today's show, just talking about weird, random, non-smokable candies.
Non-smoke candy. Yeah. I was like, what? Yeah. The 80s was crazy as hell, man. They literally made toy cigarettes to give us, man.
Well, and there's still you still get the big time chew gum.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, like
chewing
a
tobacco
snuff.
or whatever.
Yeah. They do got that stuff. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Big tobacco, boy.
yeah.
They
probably
had a
did make
hold
those
on us.
cigarettes. You're right.
Yeah.
Because
Training
they
kids.
looked like They looked like a pack of Marlboros or whatever,
Exactly.
too, right?
Yeah, they was like you carried them in your bag like a pack of cigarettes, man, in your pocket. You know what that reminds me of? Cops talking to our kids, playing basketball with them with their damn
Gonna bring this up.
with their damn vest on and guns and shit. Did you see that?
I did.
That was pretty bad. Look, man. That pissed me off, dog. I was mad as hell. I just gotta say, I love Crutcher, man, but I understand, like, you know, he's running a program that, you know, I'm not saying he don't I don't really know. I just know that, like, some things are dictated, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was dictated or not. But, you know, for activists and for people that's in the community, man, you gotta pay attention to how you treat these black kids and who you let interact with them, especially cops, man, and how you let them interact with them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because, like the cigarettes, it's okay. It's all right.
Exactly.
Here you
That
go, kiddo.
normalizing certain things. We don't want to normalize things, and I'm so sick and tired of this idea that we just need to normalize militarized police and like increasing police state and surveillance and things like that. It's like, no, that's not
and it's
a normal
okay
thing
for
that
you
we
to
should
like
have.
for us to teach your kids this stuff
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's okay and it's not okay.
Yeah.
And it never has been. And you know, I'm not saying, I mean, I wouldn't let a cop talk to my kid about shit. That don't mean that you need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I mean, they don't even had the thought to put a polo shirt on and come over there with some sneakers on or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, nah, we're coming out there with our big tactical, all our shit on. So we could dumb your kids down and rock them to sleep and make them think that it's okay. So, you know, we got to be able to identify this shit as it's happening, because that's another thing that I'm bad at. Like, seeing what's happening while it's happening is a tough thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
But it's also, I mean, it's also good to be able to step back and like process things.
True, yeah.
In fact, you know, this makes me think of what we were talking about earlier, Sean.
What's that?
As activists. Working as activists.
Mm-hmm.
No, but seriously, like, we wanted to talk today about...
Yeah.
We have been working on this housing march stuff, and like, obviously we've been working on a lot of stuff, but I think this has been illuminating to us too. Like, how do you build the movement?
Right.
Like, people that have been doing activism a long time, and like, whatever, I sometimes get annoyed by the word activist, right? But activism, organizing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like, being in the cause, like, how do we be better, basically?
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm like, to paraphrase or to use Melania's thing, how do we be best?
How do we be best? Yeah.
Like, how do we build the movement, though? Because, you know, we've talked about this. So many people have dropped off, and we're kind of calling some, not individuals, but just like groups of people in general, like, you know, yeah, that's Trump's out of office. People are like maybe not feeling the like immediate threat of Trump in office.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I've been doing this a long time, and you kind of see ups and downs or whatever of like people being engaged or whatever. But I would like to see ups and downs that are
like trending up.
Trending up, not
even
just
the
like
downs
up
are
and
trending
down
up.
that's just like a
Yeah.
flat line. So like,
Me too.
how do we do that as like activists and organizers? Like, how do we build that movement? And, you know, we were talking to Les. Les is around here somewhere, I think. I don't know if he took off or and, you know, because he's in the labor movement. That's like his thing that he's been doing forever. That's how I know Les is when I was doing labor.
You introduced me to Les. This is Les, the labor kingpin.
Yeah, that's right. Les is the labor kingpin.
Hoffa himself.
Exactly. But, you know, like, I'm also in DSA.
Yeah.
And there's just a jillion other groups out there. And we were just talking about this last night. Like,
where are they?
we're all doing our things, and I understand it's like easy to get siloed into our things, but like, how do we build the movement more together? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us are actually working on similar things, like labor, and so the labor unions and the tenant union.
Yeah.
They're really focused on the same issues, but it's like, what are they doing together? How are their memberships getting together, right? You know, or like the DSA and like other groups. I don't want to like call out specific groups or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
What I learned is, motherfucker, take that shit personal. But you know, at the same time, it's like a good, like, okay, we're talking about y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're talking about other groups or that. They're not talking about me. No, we're talking about all of it.
We're even talking about Chinook Seneca.
Even this sense.
Because like, obviously, if we were doing as the best that we could, we would have had we would control Colorado Springs.
Right, yeah, we would already been making it happen.
We'd have won, you know, like, so we need to do some self-reflection on like, so what do we need to do to be better about building the movement, right? So like, this is like, we should have turned the camera on earlier, because actually the three of us
had a good discussion.
Contentious at times, perhaps, but also like totally legitimate points that were being brought up, you know, because it's like, it's difficult to do this work, you know what I'm saying? Doing activism and doing organizing.
Consistently too, and like sticking to it, and like that longevity thing, you know, when I was in the Army, we would had this land navigation course and stuff that we would learn, right? And you know, if you shoot an azimuth and you walk, you could think you're walking straight, but you're like doing this, you know what I'm saying? And you don't even realize it until you're like 30 miles
at the point where you started.
Or that, till you walk your ass back home. But being, you know, shooting the back azimuth and making sure that you're still in the, you know what I'm saying, in the straight line is a good thing, man. So it came up last night that, you know, we were like, how do we fix this? Because, you know, when we started this thing, we just knew that, we knew it was going to be what it is, you know what I'm saying? But we see more. We see that it could be more broad, and that the intersectionality of all of our problems and, you know, different oppressions that we go through or whatever is happening need to be reciprocated with the activism. You know what I'm saying?
And we all do, we need to the reciprocity, but also see, you know, the left-wing activists love to use the word intersectionality. You're like, oh, all of our oppressions are intersectional or whatever.
Say that word.
But
but
that's a good word to use, because I feel like it's a buzzword that people throw around, but then they don't think about
how to actually do that.
Oh yeah, because I'm not. I was like, is it cross-pollination? Cross-pollination?
I don't know what it is.
Cross-parapollination.
It's what it is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When you mix
it's cross-polyamory.
There it is, amority.
But like, let's actually think about how intersectionality like how all of our movements can intersect, because there are groups that are working on their thing, you know. There are groups that are working on Black issues. There are groups that are working on Latino issues. There are groups that are working on immigrant issues. There are and like maybe not so much in Colorado Springs, but like when I was in Boston, man, there was the Chinese Progressive Organization. You know, they're working on issues in Chinatown for the Chinese community. But you know, they started to broaden their shit too. You know what I'm saying? But like, all these different groups work on their things,
and it's like,
it's the tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, it's easy to do that. It's super easy to do that, because we talked about that, especially when you're low on resources.
Exactly, and we've like specifically said, man, nobody bring us no extra work. Like, we're doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't give us ideas of what you should do. This, like, stop that. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. I think that, you know, for me, it's like, man, it's common sense. Like, you know, you got a problem, and you gotta address the problem with the same kind of force, right? And but how do you do that? And that's the thing. It was like, what the hell? So, you know, we kind of want to bring that conversation into the community, into the realm, and just look at it, look around. You know what I'm saying? If does your organization all look exactly the same?
Right. Oh, because that's what we were talking about last. That's what really got us started on this, actually. Well, because we went to Tony's. And we were talking about how bars are, in fact, some of the most segregated spaces in the United States.
Right.
And I was actually surprised. Tony's, in my mind, seemed very much like when I was growing up, like a white bar, a white guy bar.
Oh, it used to be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But it was like more diverse than
I was shocked. I never been in there. I've always wanted to, like, because I've always, you know, drive by or whatever I see, and I'm like, what is that place? You know what I'm saying? What's it about? So anyway, I've never been there, and it was like,
it was pretty chill.
It was cool, man. You know what I'm saying? For a 40-year-old dude at the bar.
Yeah, true. Yeah, us 30 to 40-year-old guys had a good time.
We had a good ass time, man. So if you're 40,
even if the youngsters didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wasn't gonna say.
Oh shit. Maybe we could delete that and guess who we're talking about.
Molly's just more fun than us.
Yeah, exactly. She's dope. And she was like, yo, I need to be in a dark room with the bass, boom, boom, boom.
Like, oh man, we're just gonna
like, no, we want to eat some cheese curds, quesadilla sticks.
But anyway, the point was, we were talking about this, and we're like, because we were like, oh, dude, we need to open a bar, of course.
Yeah.
Because we're at a bar, and so we're like, bars are great, we should open a bar.
We need a bar, and we were drinking, we were like,
but that's a legit point.
That's a good idea.
So that's one, but that's one strategy, like, and that's what we were talking about, like, opening a bar.
So they'll come to
and it's not just like, because I was like, Tony's used to be just a punk bar, you know? But it's not really that anymore. But a place where lots of different people can come and feel welcome. Because you even talked about it, like, what if you went into a bar that was like all black people?
Right.
You know, like, how would you really feel? You know what I'm saying?
Like it would be like, am I good here?
Exactly.
Am I cool? Yeah.
Right. Or if you went, I'm sure you probably experienced this way more than I do, obviously, in the world. Like walking into a place where you're like the only black man. I'm sure
in Colorado Springs. Yeah, shit happens all the time. But you're right, and it's just like, so how we can address that as a community, right? So it's always, there's work for us to do for the community. You know, there's always something that we need to talk about and work on that's important issues. But like, if we're like not half cocked doing that, then we're not fully effective. And sometimes it's good to just take a step back on whatever projects and shit that you got going on and kind of regroup your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, I believe that we need to do that as a community. And you know, I'm Chinook, Just COS. That's me, and I'm saying I think they should be at Chinook. Damn it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So,
that's
but
our
obviously,
thing.
I understand that there's other places to organize, and there's other places to do things. And what Les brought to my attention was it's the communication. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's the relationship building is what I identified it as, but it's the communication of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, whatever, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Why aren't you at the Chinook Center? Or you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, I don't know. Or did you know that we got this or whatever? Like there's gotta be something. So I'm gonna come up with something.
Right.
And
So
try to
here
figure this thing out.
And like we've been having, I feel like this discussion has been happening so much over the last couple of weeks, though. If you're trying to like really build a movement, you know, there's all these debates about like how do you build a movement and like, and then even like have a revolution or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like Lenin's "What Is to Be Done."
Right.
That's what we're calling this episode.
What is to be done?
We're ripping off Lenin, but like there's like okay. The two different things that people talk about are like the base building strategy, where you're just going out and you're building community relay. You know, you go out and it's the classic organizer thing where you go out, like it's like labor unions use this and like most other like base organizations use this. You go out, you talk to people, and you build one-on-one relationships. And like I think that that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because like that's how you really get like buy-in.
Exactly.
And sustainability.
So like, if somebody just sees a poster.
Yeah.
It's different than if you handed it to them and told
Yeah,
them
and
why
if you talk to somebody, like when I used to do community organizing, I was thinking about this. We were talking about this recently. I was like, yeah, dude, I remember I sat in a lot of people's living rooms and just talked to them, you know, and like listened to them.
Right.
What are your issues? Like we had community meetings, obviously, but you're also just like,
right.
sitting in their living room, in their house, you know, like it's a personal thing.
Oh, that's dope.
You know, the other thing is though, like that is the most labor-intensive way to organize.
Right.
Because you have to have so many organizers in order to be able to scale that up.
Right.
And this is something that I've struggled with for so long is like, that really is a good way to engage people. Like, and actually he was just talking about this too, like talking to people where they're at. In fact, he always says that to me.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's a legit thing, but also, you can't just expect that change is going to happen, like revolutionary change or even wide-scale change, if you're just like talking one-on-one. Like maybe you can start to build more activists, because there's this thing in the activist community or organizer community, like organizers hate the term activist because they're like, you're not actually organized, you're not talking to people. And you know, nobody likes to use the term activist anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's like a space. Really, what you want as an organizer is for every person that you talk to become an activist.
Right.
To become that person that's doing those things. But I do think that you have to have another strategy of like agitation and pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like or whatever. I think that's kind of what we do a lot.
Right.
Too. You know what I'm saying?
We're
Like
that element.
Because we like the fact of the matter is, like I'm just thinking back over the years, I've seen more people get engaged through mass protest than I have through like door-to-door organizing or whatever. And maybe that's just because it's like that's falling off, and so you don't get to, as you know, you need paid organizers to do that. But also, people watch TV, people watch social media, and when you have massive things that are in everybody's news feed, they are interested in that, and that's, you know, you're basically, instead of you going out and talking to each individual person, sort of like spreading out tentacles, what you're doing is like you're planting something here, you're blowing something up right here, or catching something on fire, and you're bringing people towards you because they want to see what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that I struggle with like, well, those are both good strategies. How do you pair them together?
Yeah, and we've talked about this through the years, it has been 2 years. Through the years, John.
Yeah.
It's nice. Through the years.
Through the 2 years.
Just, you know, everybody's activism is needed. And, you know, we got to think, your sternly worded letter, and then, you know, like to go and yell at the cop's face, or all of that shit is needed, and everything in between it. So, you know, what's obvious is all of us, there's people that's doing all of these things, and they do it every day. They're in this city. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is doing some of that stuff every day. But I don't know them.
And exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know us. There's all the people that can say, nope, I don't know I didn't know that person was doing it. Or if that person is doing that, I got it, don't want no help. Or I'm not helping you, don't give me no more work. You know what I'm saying? It's so much shit. Or now, you know, there's this, like, activists want to be paid to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right,
the dumb. It's like there's so much shit
I mean,
that's
it
happening.
is good to get paid.
It is. I mean, I'm not saying. I guess that was a
But
wrong,
I understand what you're saying.
wrong.
No, I mean, understand.
Yeah. I didn't want to come off wrong, but I believe that also that if we did have the ability to have paid organizers and paid positions in these nonprofit, groups,
Yeah, you can.
then we're going to be better off, more effective. You know
But
what I'm
people
saying?
Sometimes I'm a little like, you gave like a 2-minute speech.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you got to give a little bit for the cause. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Stop
Like,
that shit, man. I'll talk to him. You listen to me talk to him. But anyway, I just feel as though we all could identify somewhere where we could take what we're doing, not create more work for ourselves, and figure out who else is doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And when we find those people, be effective with them, in that same thing, because like we said, all of this stuff it crosses somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
that,
There's really not much that you can't put together. There's not one oppression that you. There are maybe some, but I mean they tie together somewhere somehow. And if we got our effective leadership, community leadership, to come together and join these things together and work on them together to the finish, then shit, man, like I think it'll speed things up a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, we'll be a community, dog. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see how we call ourselves community and we don't really know
like people.
People.
And that's what I gotta say. So, I've been pushing this in organizations for a while. Like, I put together some little chart, in fact, in our socialist organization in Scranton. And I'm like, every single one of our actions, we should be considering these 4 things as tent posts for our building our movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember all of them now. But I do remember one of them was like, we need to be building community, because even when you're doing organizing, and I'm not saying we all have to like each other. Actually, one of my friends out east, he was like, we don't all have to like each other, but we all have to love each other. And I was like, I kind of like that. That's kind of a cool thing to say. Like there's a lot of people that I don't get along with. I'm kind of a cantankerous person.
Yeah.
But like, I do actually come from my work from a place of love. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important to remember.
Say it, actually.
But even when you're like doing like activism or organizing or whatever, I feel like you always need to have that like community element. I'm always saying like, let's like eat together or whatever. You know?
Right.
You know what? I actually think it's your chicken sandwiches that have done
a
so
lot of
much for the
work.
Chinook Center. They have done a lot of the work. But like, I'm only half joking. You know what I'm saying? Because people come down and they eat together, and there's just that sense of like actual human bonding that goes with it. Because that's what capitalism is doing now. They want us all to be isolated individuals that only think about ourselves, our own little world. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't fight that way. Exactly. We're also better consumers that way. You know what I'm saying? Every single
you need more shit.
Yeah, exactly. And you feel shitty, so you need to go buy something that'll make you feel better as a person. Don't participate in community.
No,
because community's free. You don't pay for community.
Yeah.
And so like I think that does really always need to be a part of like what we're doing, is building that shared sense of belonging with one another, right? Because then we have that shared sense of, it builds onto like that shared sense of struggle and everything, and you do start to identify, because there is a problem in the left-wing activist community, is like, obviously there are differences between us.
Yeah.
But there's this hyper focus on those things.
Exactly.
Like we want to just like chop things up.
Yeah.
We're like, well, here's my very specific thing that is my issue, like my particular sets of identity issues or whatever that I'm working on. And it's like, you're going to be you. This is like the postmodernist trap or whatever, where it's like we can only understand the world from our very subjective experience.
Okay.
And that just buys into capitalism's fucking thing.
Yeah, I was waiting on you to say it. I was like, that's capitalism, dog. Yeah, you're right, though.
And they're trying to, and what that does, it's fucking a product. We've seen this too. Now it's like, buy your rainbow shirt, your LGBTQ shirt, and your Black Lives Matter shirt, and it's like
co-op.
They co-opted it because it's like it's just all about you as an individual participating in the movement. It's not about the movement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, but that was a good one, John.
That
was a good one. Because that is so fucking right. Like, even during the uprise last summer, the people that came out aren't here now, obviously.
There's a lot of them and you know what? We've been contacting a lot of them lately, and they're all, we're not really doing that anymore. We had a falling out. Yeah.
But it kind of shows like, man, I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Wow.
Really? Yeah, because it's divisive, and it's it just really the truth is like there's not very many people that are driven to do this shit every day and to like or even once a week or whatever. Right. There's very few people on the big scheme of things, and it's important. I don't want to be divisive when I'm saying it, but it's important to fucking work with each other, man. Like you can't, okay, you could be affected. You could, we'll use Monica's group. They got the dope shit going with the land that they're working on. They're about to get a piece of land, right? Okay, now they accomplished it, they did it, and it's their shit, right? And they can say that they got it done by themselves, and it's great, and everybody's gonna be fucking stoked when it happens, right? But what I know is that if the labor unions gave a damn about them getting that land, and K-Land Community Cares and whoever else over here gave DSA gave a shit about Hasia getting that land, then we would have had that shit probably 2-3 years ago for them.
Right. If everybody could, I mean, that would be great. If everybody, and like whatever, there's sort of like, yes, it would be great if we could all just support each other's struggle.
Right,
more.
I know. It's like La La Land, you know what I'm saying? I know, but I'm saying if we're activists and we're like...
And we're actually seeing these things intersect.
Exactly, man. And like we want things like that for our cause that we're pushing towards, then why the hell would we want their shit to be successful too? Yep. And then help them. And I'm not, and again, I said it like, I'm not asking nobody to go do somebody else's work for them, you know what I'm saying? And because somebody else is passionate about it, then you pick up that passion. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying there's something that you're doing that somebody else is doing-ish around that area that we could do it together, you know what I'm saying? And put it all together.
And sometimes it's not like, there are more things that and whatever, I'm guilty as shit as this. I'm always like, I didn't do that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that, we're all going to drop the ball on things, especially like a lot of us that are like sort of busy organizers. But there are a lot of things that are like, dude, seriously, all you got to do is type your name in or something. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is click a button.
Right.
And
like a petition or something.
We really
like
could be doing.
Is that what you're saying? Like
exactly. Yeah. Like it's really easy to sign another group's petition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get your whole group to do it. We were talking about like, the leaders of these organizations might come to, the Chinook Center or to the whatever place that they're at. And then the information doesn't get all the way to their everybody in their group. Right. So you're just talking to one person, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I think that there's a lot of looking inward that we could do, and then there's mainly like looking outward, you know what I'm saying? Because all of us are looking inward, you know what I'm saying? We're all like hyper focused on what we got going on, and like there's shit happening all around us that we might catch, and there are some of us that are cross-pollinized. Like we hear about the stuff that's going on in the other, like we ended up randomly at the bougie breakfast the other day, you know what I'm saying? Like there's things like that happens, but when it's we need some follow through. We need some follow through on what's going on, and then when we do get it, bro, it'll be like they'll be fucking scared. I could just imagine
totally.
These motherfuckers be like, oh shit, like all of these labor unions got together with the damn, I don't know, whatever the hell union, and
the
they
DSA and
with
the tenant
sex
union
workers
and the
union
sex workers union.
Like
they're
not supposed to be fucking talking to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to have this siloed and divided effect that's going on, and they're gonna be too much for us to handle.
Totally.
So, that's my plea.
I mean, I do think some of it has to be on, like, it's weird, but like I think we know we're like in a leadership position, obviously, right?
Yeah.
On leaders, and like, okay, what could we do to do better about engaging more people to participate? Like, I complain all the time that like we have like 200 paper members in the DSA locally, which is actually quite an accomplishment in Colorado Springs. Like
right.
200
that's a good thing.
Actives, or not 200 dues-paying socialists,
right?
But like, let's be real, we don't have 200 active socialists in Colorado Springs. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're right. Like, we should be focusing outward, but I think especially like people who are in like leadership positions, like self-appointed or community-appointed, whatever, however you want to define leadership. Need to be thinking like, okay, if this is something that I care about and want to move forward, like, how do I do better about actually engaging people too? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, galvanizing my power and
galvanizing. We haven't used that in a while.
That's a good word, right? Yeah, that's a good strong word, man. It's a good strong word. But so guys, think about it, man. And I think that there's no denying that we have power in numbers, and that when it's organized, our numbers can be a juggernaut. And like,
also a good word,
powerful word. And if just the thought of it will create change. Like, just the action of us putting these things together will make whatever the hell, something switch up around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll react to that. And we got to get to it, man. Because we were talking about this over our beer. We're almost done here. Yeah. But we were talking about over our beer last night that Colorado Springs, our activist community is as segregated as anything is
totally.
by race. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're here that, like, the DSA, there's 200. How many are black? Maybe, I don't know. We don't know. There's not many, though.
Maybe half a dozen.
You know what
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know, because I don't know every single member, but it's not high.
It's not a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So now, when a black person sees the DSA acting and doing something, oh, that's a white dude. It's a white group. You know, I'm not a socialist. You know what I'm saying? I know that. Well, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we just got to look around for our flaws and figure it out, and not allow ourselves to be portioned off by race, and then go hard at it too. Like, motherfuckers is really serious about what they're doing, and they're segregated. We're segregated as
and not even just race. There's all these different things that we're segregated.
Oh yeah, I keep saying race.
Like, I mean, there is race. I mean, there's also like all the other identity things that we have, right? But there's also like all the other just like ideological things too that people are segregated by. Like, I had to be real when we were talking about this too, and like talking about working more closely with the Democratic Party, for example. And admittedly, I'm like, like, but the Democratic Party has a well-established base of progressive activists.
Right.
You know, and this is like a debate within like the DSA, for example. Like, to what extent do you work with institutions like that, right? You know, because then you can get co-opted. That's what every single one of our groups are afraid of. If I work too much with this group, do I just become that group? Mm-hmm. And none of us want that. We all have our thing that we want to maintain. That's why we all have our organizations, right? Mm-hmm. That's where our heart is like within those organizations. So, but that doesn't mean you can't like work where they align.
Right? For sure, man. I agree. And you know, there's value in, you know, these sorts of identities that we organize around. There's value in it,
totally.
For sure.
Like, well, they're natural constituencies in some ways, right? There's like a natural affinity. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you're like, hey, we share this thing, so we can work together better.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Exactly, and I think that, like, yes, we identify it, we see it, we recognize it, we acknowledge it. All right, now let's put this shit together and go win this thing. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to that point, because we're behind the curve here in the city for sure. We're behind the curve. Like, these motherfuckers got a hold on everything, and it's because we're trying to punch with our fingers extended. You know what I'm saying? So
good metaphor.
man, that shit don't hurt, man. You gotta don't hurt when you do that. But all right, man.
Yeah, for sure. But that is a great way to think about it.
Right.
There was something else I was going to add, but I don't remember. This has been like an incredibly sober episode, hasn't it?
Yeah, man. That was kind of like. I hope you guys listen to that.
Yeah, this is real serious stuff. I don't. Oh, you know what though? We're using our new camera.
Oh yeah.
Look, this is our new camera, guys.
Do you see it?
Can you tell? I don't know actually. Les probably could tell. I don't know.
It's pretty cool, man.
But
moving on up.
We're all kind of like fumbling around with it this morning. We're like, Les, maybe you could like figure this out for us.
I didn't even know how to turn it on. I don't know what's going on. But hopefully your viewing experience is a little bit more pleasant. And what's the word? I don't know.
Reinvigorating?
Upgraded.
Uh-oh, an upgraded viewing experience.
Upgraded viewing experience.
But now we have 4, so next time we have a guest, we can have like...
We might even be able to get one on a different level.
We could have, you know what we need to do is put a ring around here to hang the camera from. That's like,
so it can
like
the
a
NFL.
robot that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That'd be
And
dope.
a drone, we need a drone. These are all
Helicopter.
upgrades. Yeah. Exactly.
So we can fly over the police.
And a blimp, I think we're going to need a
We
blimp.
were talking about the dropping leaflets over people like we did
That's
in
true.
Afghanistan.
Or getting a battle drone. I really want to get a battle drone so that we can battle the police drone up in the air.
Ooh.
That's like got swinging blades on it.
Or
and
we
stuff.
just go over top of it and like get our claw.
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Man. I love y'all. We'll be back next week. We're
All
going
right.
to get it together, man. We're going to get it together.
I'll see you guys all July 31st.
31st.
11 o'clock. Peace.
Hey, you! We got your boy!